Well, hello there. How you guys doing? It's been a minute or two or a couple days or a week since I've been live with you, and I wanted to come out and say hello, dropping everything as we go live. But hey, listen, past couple weeks I have been in some training sessions with my coach. Doc Rock is in the house, and I'm always learning new things from him. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I've been a Facebook junkie girl, not a YouTube person. So I want to know from you, are you a Facebook person or a YouTube person? Or where's your main gig at? Where are you floating? So today, I'll start from the beginning. Today was not like an ordinary day. We actually had a snow day, even though it wasn't snow. It was more like brutal ice. You could hear it hitting the ground. Sounded like, I don't know, rocks, pebbles hitting on the ground. But fortunately, we did not lose power. But it has been a little bit interesting trying to stay connected with the internet. So I'm grateful. I have a solid connection tonight and I can stream for a little bit. And I thought that I'd share with you some of the things that I've been working on, especially after I came out of the session with Doc Rock and listening to some of the things he was telling me and many other people, is about YouTube. And I'll tell you, I have not been doing the YouTube thing. I have predominantly been focusing on Facebook and my groups and my community. And I love Facebook. And sometimes I feel like when I'm going outside and going over to YouTube, I feel out of my normal. It feels a little ugly. It feels a little scary. So tell me if you have a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or group. I want to know what you're dealing with. So traditionally, Facebook's been my gig, with a couple of things that I have floating out into some other spaces. But as I was talking to him, he keeps sharing how to make you look prettier in the algorithms. So I'm making some changes, and that included me having to go back and look at what I've done. And pretty much what I was doing is not even paying attention to it at all and just dropping some stuff off over into YouTube land if I was doing a live stream. And I wasn't even going back and looking at the description or even trying to do anything with SEO. I just wasn't. I've focused on my sales funnels, my Facebook groups, and even having niche groups. And anyhow, the short of it is I realized that I'm, losing a lot of momentum and other opportunities And it's taken me a while to be willing to start at ground zero again. But I'm working on my YouTube channel. So I thought I'd share with you some things that I'm doing on my end, and maybe you can utilize some of these ideas for you as well. So, one of the things that I had discovered is this one app. You may have heard of it. It's called Tube Buddy. And the thing that's neat about it, even if you're not using it for YouTube, is it can help you generate new ideas of topics, or to even come up with the way that your subject line is written out so it can become more engaging or rank better, with SEO, and to get things growing for your part. So this past weekend, I had a little bit of fun. I'm going to show you. This past weekend, I actually ended up, let me see if I can pull it up here. I ended up doing some photos just at my house. Let me see if I can. I'm going to open up my phone really quick. And I set up a little setup at my house and started taking some photos for me to use through some of my artwork that I have to create. So I'm going to, this is for my cell phone. So what I did is I have a green screen, and I just literally set up my camera on a tripod, and then I used one of those little, let me see if I can find it, one of those little clickers so that I could do my own photos. And this might be a good option if you don't have, two, three, five, even $1,000 to go do a photo shoot of something that you can do, because I needed to find a way to create some artwork. And I ended up coming over, let me see, hold on one second, you guys, let me unlock my phone. I ended up just doing these photos really quick, all in like an hour. I know this is ridiculous, but I'm not a person that goes and maybe gets all dolled up all the time. So I just got my makeup on and took a couple different outfits and did some different poses for. This is Hurley Ball. We're getting ready for Hurley Ball. Yay! There's Patty. So I ended up just going through and taking a couple of different outfits and changing my outfits so that I had a couple different options of photos to work with for my artwork for YouTube and some other things. So super simple, right? And it didn't cost me anything because I already had the equipment. So I'm saying this to you so that if you think you've got to go through all of these big steps to work on the marketing for your business, I just want to let you know you don't. You don't have to go through a bunch of crazy steps. You can start with some things that you have at your house without having to hire, or, until you're ready to hire somebody. So what I ended up doing is I took these different photos, and some of them I edited, some of them I just did raw, and the idea was, how do I capture different looks and different poses? And even on that, you guys, I do not feel like, I don't mind like coming out and talking to you, just naturally like talking, but I don't feel like I'm, like the posing type of girl. That's just not me. I think I'm probably the one that's usually better shining the camera out and shining the light on other people to highlight their stuff. So, for me, this was like a little bit, I don't even know exactly how to pose. And I've had to do poses and stuff like that. But what I ended up doing was I pulled up a YouTube video and I just typed in, different poses. And I also looked at different ways people were doing their thumbnails for their YouTube channel, whether it was like pointing at something or holding something or wowing. And then I just mocked that, and I looked at what were other people doing so that I could feel comfortable. Some of them kind of goofy, but if you have the right headline on a thumbnail that you're using in YouTube, these can be perfect for, creating that custom look. And I use, excuse me, I use the green screen in the background just to make really crisp cutouts of each of these images. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So I ended up going into just my phone and then uploading these into Canva. And if you have, there's a free version of Canva that you can try out, but there's also a paid version of Canva, which gives you some really fun tools to be able to use, including being able to cut out images, remove the background. Something before, you'd have to pay an expensive graphic designer to do some of these mundane tasks, right? Well, with Canva, with the paid subscription, I think it's like $12.95 a month or something like that. It's one of my favorite softwares, and it's worth every bit of that $12.95 a month because it's so powerful. But even the free subscription is pretty cool. So if you don't have one, definitely go sign up. In fact, I do have an affiliate link. I just don't have it in the description here where you can get a discount. So maybe I'll come back and drop it over in the comments. So, okay, so that was the first thing is I went in, took some photos, a couple different outfits, watched a video, looked at some poses other people are doing, and tried to kind of mimic that and change it to be, what I'm looking for. Could it be better? Absolutely. But for the most part, it's pretty pro. It looks good. It looks decent, right? So no egg on my face there. But let me see. I'm going to roll over here really quick. And here, we're going to get ready for St. Patrick's Day. Get some green hearts going. All right, so moving over to Canva, let me show you this really quick. Hopefully I don't get one of these. Here we go. Okay, so what I ended up doing is I found a template that was on Canva and a couple of different templates of things that I liked. And I created like 7 main sort of templates, if you will. And earlier, I had set up in Canva and defined all of my branding colors. So the idea is, how do I create images that look professional and can kind of bring a more uniform look to my YouTube channel? So I'm going to show you where I'm at now, right here. Let me go over to all videos. And like I said, this has just been someplace that like it gets live stream. I'm not doing anything with it, but I'm going to change that. So I'm going back through all the videos that I have. I think there's a total of 80 that I have in there. And for the most part, most of them, you can see like how I've started updating those, but you can see still some of the old ones down through here that I haven't updated yet. And a lot of them were just like this, it was a screenshot of that video that I had posted. And for the most part, it's just really plain. So I ended up like updating here, but even here you can see this is like the original artwork that kind of came with when I made that video. But I like that one, I don't even know how it got that many hits, but imagine if I was actually that's interesting. I need to go back and look at that. It's interesting, like if I would apply SEO and some of the basic marketing principles to my YouTube channel, where would it be right now? Like I said, I haven't promoted it. So if you haven't liked my page, my YouTube channel, see, I still say page. If you haven't liked my YouTube channel, I included a link. Go over there and give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I have a goal to try to get that grown to 100 people. And then I can get my name on that channel. So if the 3 of you that are viewing with me right now, go to that link and give me a subscribe. You can help me get there a little bit faster. And I'll be sharing some more golden nuggets along the way. So what would be the point of going through, like, doing all of this? There's a lot of reasons. And as Dak was saying, in terms of the SEO, the searchability, but even the number of views that you can get and how quickly you can grow if you really start managing it. So I feel like I've just neglected YouTube. I watch YouTube videos, but I just never really considered that, my jam, my space of where I'm at. But I'm willing to learn, and especially when you have different people with experience sharing the benefits that they've had from their journey. It kind of can become inspiring, but I want to make sure that I stay focused on the things that are important to me and to my community. And this just might be an extension, so we're going to check it out. Okay, so back to it. So I did those photos that I was telling you about, and then I came over to Canva. I picked out like 7 different templates that I kind of liked, and I adjusted it and customized it, adding the colors that I'm trying to use for that channel, which is pretty much like blues, yellows, purples, a little bit of fuchsia, some yellow, white, that sort of thing. And it has that cohesive look of all those colors that kind of blend well together. They work well. It's not bouncing all over the place like a crazy kaleidoscope. All the colors are kind of working together in unison. So if you start getting all of these organized where you create all of your assets and chunks, it can make it easier. So let's say that you have a YouTube channel and you're like me where you haven't done artwork, but you want to go back, update what you have, and then start to really implement best practices moving forward. So that's what I'm doing. So as I said, I went in, I grabbed those simple templates, I made some updates, and then I ended up just like after I finished one block of 10 thumbnails, I would copy those thumbnails and then go back in and make adjustments. So for instance, let me just go over here. Wait 1 second, let me come back. No, here, I'll just copy that, and that made a duplicate of it. And if I wanted to just delete out like that photo, let me see here. I got my camera's blocking it. Oops. Here we go. Then I can come back over here and I can select the artwork that I want. Made in Detroit. Yes, I quite literally was made in Detroit. And on Canva, if you have the paid subscription, you have the option to click on edit and then hit remove background. And if you give it just a few seconds, you'll see it'll cut away all of that green screen in the background, and I'll just have the outline of myself. And here we go. Give it a minute. So let me know, did you guys have a snow day today or an ice day? What are they calling it? An ice day? Yeah, we had an ice day today. So that was kind of nice. Okay, so here I have like my little cutout of me. And if I want to take it up, with a little bit more foo-foo, I can hit the edit image again and then go over here to shadows and select glow. And then this little hamburger thing that's in the middle, click on that. I take the transparency, I totally turn it off, and then I move the blur to 0. And then for the size of the line around, I just increase it. So like that looks not so good in the black, right? It looks like I got a monster behind me. Okay, so I'm going to scale it back down here, but let's say that I want to take my outline and make it white or purple. I can do that easily, just selecting that. And as you can see earlier, I pre-populated Canva to have all of my branding colors in one spot. And then it keeps me on task, so I'm not ending up with multiple versions of purple and blue. I mean, there's so many different variations. You can always go back through and add more to these if you want. And this is something, again, that's in the paid version of Canva. But let's just say for now that I'm going to do blue. We'll do blue. I could keep it like that. And, you can putz around, drag them, make them bigger, smaller, whatever you want to do. And then just kind of create that asset to be reflective of what you want. And you can go in, change like the backgrounds. Little things can make a big difference with your design. So even if you are limited to, they say with graphic design for your fonts, you really should use no more than 2 or 3 at the most fonts on a design, because it starts to look scattered all over the place. There's no consistency, there's nothing that's pulling it together. What's interesting though is even if you only have 3 or even let's say 2 different fonts that you're using, they don't all have to look alike. There could be variations on, the size, the height. Is it in caps? What color? Is there a texture? Is there a shadow? There's so many things that you can do to make that same exact font look completely different with little accessories. Sort of like your little black dress. You can wear a little black dress and make it look like breakfast at Tiffany's. You're ready to go have champagne or mimosas, or a little black dress that looks cute with a baseball hat and you're going to a baseball game. They all can work. It's just how you're dressing it up. And the same thing with your fonts. It's the same dress, it's just what accessories you're using with it. So as I went through and sort of creating like these templates of like 7 thumbnails, I went back in and just did some fine-tune editing with the backgrounds, the colors, and then swapping out different photos. Sometimes I use the same photo for multiple scenes or multiple thumbnails. And then sometimes it was like, no, let's reverse it or change it, so little things like that, just to make it a little bit more clean cut. So even these, I have all these old, these are actually, this was another place where I was dumping is I have a podcast that we do. We were doing really good with our podcast. I need to get back over into there. But I had set it up where my podcast was broadcasting and then automatically streaming just the audio with one visual into YouTube for me. But I wasn't really using it to, I guess, gather more people. I'm changing that though now. But you can see like the artwork that I had that converted from the podcast over to YouTube. Some of them look okay, like this business heartbeat. It's okay. This one, Trash in $1 Million Industry. It's actually a really interesting episode. You should go listen to that. That was pretty good. But even like this, they don't look that great. It really doesn't have branding. When you look at this, you're not going to think of me or my brand. It could be anybody, right? However, when you start to see images like this over and over again, and the color and the font, it will start to trigger subconsciously in your mind, my name or my brand. And especially as my brand becomes more well known. And the same thing with you. When you create that consistent look, people subconsciously associate it with you or your brand. And that's why, these corporations spend millions and millions of dollars on branding in their image and making sure that everything stays within that parameter, because there's so much value and power when you allow it to be really reflective of you, so I just want you to consider that as you maybe start making some changes with your business and making some updates. So like here you can see like here's my photo, but there's not really any branding or anything on there, and the text is super small. So that was another thing that I've learned too, is even paring down the copy that you have on your thumbnails is helpful, and to be able to use strong words that capture the audience to understand what they're going to discover if they click on that video, and do it in an authentic way. Like, don't use clickbait or something that's not really going to be reflective of the content you have. That just makes people mad and makes them go bonkers. So you want people to be giving you some love, right? So the key thing is just make sure that you are not being disrespectful of people in that way. You might get like a couple extra views, but does it really serve a purpose for you? Because those people will leave and they're not probably going to have the best taste in their mouth for you. All right, so moving back on over here really quick. I ended up going through cleaning up all of those thumbnails. I'm going to keep doing this on these other thumbnails too. And this is quite the task, I got to tell you. Taking the time to create the artwork the right way in the beginning would have been smart. But, like I said, I wasn't looking at YouTube really to utilize it, but now I'm changing that. So I'm going back in, I'm updating all of these different videos that I have. And then this is another thing I'm going to show you that I ended up doing. This is a video from quite a while ago. I did I think it was like 30. This was actually on Instagram, if I remember correctly, maybe. But it was like 30 days of tips for your business. So let me come over here to edit. So this is what I did. In the past, none of this text was here. It was pretty much blank, and then I'd have a title that was in there by default. So with a little bit of research, I ended up going back in and then finding, sort of like my intro text to generically describe my videos or what our content's about, because really my agency focuses on events, marketing, and communications. That is pretty much the specialty over here. And, the communication could be in print, live streaming, or in-person events. So it's an overlap with all these different topics. So I kept a generic title, but this is where I'm getting into a little bit of fun, and why I'm doing all of this is I came back in and I started adding all of my affiliate links that are appropriate for the content that I'm creating. So another one that I started just recently is Buy Me a Coffee, which is a great way for people to support content creators like myself. But I ended up getting into adding like my Facebook group. Also, I don't know if you know, I'm a Amazon influencer, so I can live stream on Amazon. Not everybody can do that. You have to have like a certain, I think, number of followers or something like that. But the beautiful thing about that is when people shop through your store, you get a percentage of those sales. And, with Amazon, it might be, significantly less than some of the affiliate sales that you can get from other people. But still, it can be anywhere from 2 to 5, even up to 10% in some cases. So I'll be working more on the Amazon storefront too. So keep an eye out for that if you are in the event and marketing industry or live streaming. A lot of good content to help save you time and save money. So let me see, even things like Restream. Oh, here's that link that I have for Canva. What is it? Get a credit for millions for $12.95 a month. Or if you pay annual, you can save, and it's only $9.95 a month. And that's actually what I do, is I do the annual. So incredibly worth it. It's one of my favorite softwares. So I ended up going through and I added all these different affiliate links in it. I've seen some other people that have done their affiliate links and maybe it looks a little bit more cleaned up. That's all right. I'm going to get there. But this was my starting spot. And for you, I don't know where you're at with your, YouTube channel or what you have going on, if you are doing affiliate links or anything like that. But YouTube's a great place to start doing that. In fact, if you have a YouTube channel, drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. Let me see your YouTube links, and then I'll go over and subscribe to your goodies as well. So anyhow, going back into all of it sort of started with, the idea of becoming more organized on other platforms besides only Facebook, and also being able to showcase some of the offerings that my agency has, whether it's through different Facebook free groups that we offer, or affiliate links that are tied to products, goods, or services that will benefit our community. And so far, it's been a little bit of a journey, and it's something I've been working on for the past 3 days. And I don't know if I would have done it though. I'll tell you tell you the truth, because I do like Facebook a lot. But listening to so many different people and hearing Doc just hammering on it about getting that YouTube channel, I thought, this is the time. Start getting some of these things together. The short of it is taking your time, discovering where your little specialty is going to be, and then later on going back and fine tuning, what are some things that you can do to enhance all the different things that you have going on, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. So this is what I've been working on this past weekend. This was pretty much it. And one of the things I did so I didn't get overwhelmed, because it's a lot of thumbnails and it's a lot of videos, is I would do so many and then I'd put like a blank page in there to create a break in the space. So I would know, what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Like these are the 11 that I'm working on right now. And then I would just go copy each of those 11 and then shake it up again. Now, the beautiful thing is as I move forward and I start doing YouTube videos, or even when I streamed this video today, I scheduled it through Restream. So where am I at? I'm on YouTube right now. Hi, YouTube. I'm on Facebook and Twitter, I think. So it's going out to multiple locations, including a couple of different groups. And as I created that, I was able to pull one of these, let me see if it's in here, one of these YouTube thumbnails, and just utilize it right into right here. Utilized it right into my little event schedule that I just sent out. So the artwork's in there, which is beautiful. The other thing with Restream, I don't think I have it up. Nope, I don't have it up right now. But the other thing that's really cool about with Restream is I was able to set up a live stream for each of these different platforms. You can also go in to that mass scheduling for all the platforms and individually identify the description. So if I was scheduling for Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter to all go live at the same time off the same calendar, I can go into each of those and edit the description. So on Facebook, it's a little bit, a little bit of finesse in what you can share, your affiliates and stuff like that. But on YouTube, it seems like it's like the old Wild West. You can kind of put in almost anything you want. So keep that in mind if you're scheduling out, events and you're going to stream to multiple places, is what content is allowed to be shared even in your description, so that you're following the rules and abiding by, their policies, so you don't get kicked off. The last thing that you want to do is go through all these motions of having, a live event scheduled or a video that you're posting, and then the content that you have in your description gets you in trouble. So sometimes I feel like we're little toddlers trying to figure out what are the rules of life so we don't get in trouble. Eat your vegetables, or as they say in Pink Floyd, eat your meat or you can't have any pudding. You can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. Remember that? Who remembers that? Let me know I'm not old school. Somebody out there talking into a black abyss. So anyhow, Pink Floyd for you. A little against the wall. All right, so that's all that I have for you guys on that. So get in there, start your little updates to YouTube if you haven't already. Start trying some new things. And I have this all just in one folder right here. Who is, or what has made it simple is keeping it all organized. I think you might be capped out at maybe 60 images that you can put in each folder, but that's all right. Over time, you can even copy an entire folder in here like, what's it? Like, click on the three dots at the top and then just click make a copy. And you can literally just raw edit into that fresh copy for a new set. So, and, have fun, be willing to change up your branding. In fact, this is a client that I've been working with, Elise, who's amazing. In fact, we had to miss our session today because we kind of had ice day, internet problem day. But I'm learning a lot from her. You guys should go check out her content over on LinkedIn. Her name's Elise Craft, and she's doing a lot of things that are really focused on, awakening as an entrepreneur and becoming aligned with what are your financial goals, what direction are you taking. Yeah, she's just a really cool, wise lady. So I did miss hanging out with her today, though. So hopefully next week we'll be back to normal. Michigan, you never know. Today, in fact, I think we had all three seasons of weather. From ice, we had a little bit of spring sunshine. It was crazy, but no summer. We didn't have summer. No summer today. So 3 of the 4. All right, so I can't think of anything else that I have for you right now, but I wanted to share that with you and give you a little bit of insight on what the heck I'm working on in the background. We're also gearing up for another challenge that we'll have for you guys for some free training for digital marketing. And later this week, maybe tomorrow, I have to check my calendar because I got a couple big events that are coming up. But maybe tomorrow, I'm going to see if I can squeeze it in to come in and do a free training to show you how you can have your own free website and how you can design it and get it up and running in literally a day. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think sometimes we get into these situations where we just want the best. We want all the bells and whistles, even like with that thumbnail stuff. But it can also hold us back from pulling the trigger and starting to take action because we get stuck into this cycle of seeking perfection. So instead we do nothing, right? And right now, this is the time to start gearing up, trying some new things. We're literally just about at the end of the first quarter for 2022. A couple more weeks, 3 more weeks, and that's crazy. It's crazy. So now's the time to say, hey, if I was slacking on some of those goals that I had set at the beginning of the year, now's the time to build up that momentum, and get it going, whether it's launching that website and getting it done, and maybe it's not all the bells and whistles you want, but it creates that threshold for you to be able to enter into this next level. So stop waiting until everything's perfect, because nothing will ever be perfect in life, and start to make some of these steps forward. And then you can circle back and go and improve if it's something that looks like it's valid and worth the time, effort, and money to go back. And that's one of the reasons why, in essence, I'm doing this project with this YouTube stuff is, the idea of growing that, building some more momentum with our affiliates and utilizing it more for the search engine optimization, and still, doing what I do best and what I love, which are, working in my communities, on my Facebook groups, and, some of the clients that we've set up these little sidebar communities to help them. I love that. But it's 2022. We got to be willing to change. So let me know in the comments, like I said, if you have a YouTube channel or if you have a Facebook group, drop them in the comments so that we can see. And, come and check out your goodies too. But if you're interested in that free training that I'm going to host this week on how to start your free website, let me know, and I'll make sure that you get an invite to that, and start having a little bit of fun. All right, on that note, I will sign off with some butterflies in my hair, just because it does make me want to smile. And you guys, Don't get caught in the rut of doing nothing because you're waiting for perfect timing, or you're waiting for just, everything to be lined up perfectly. Don't. Start taking little baby steps right now today to start working on your strategy, and then fine tuning it and perfecting it and listening to what other people are saying that have opinions that are worth listening to. And when I say that, what I mean is people that have the expertise and the knowledge to share insight based on truth that they've experienced, things that they know that are working, versus people that maybe don't know because maybe they've never done any social media marketing. Maybe they don't know what's working. But if you listen to the people that are finding their little truth along the way and sharing it with you and what's working, you're going to end up in a better spot. All right. So in the meantime, be good, be happy, and most definitely be blessed.